name is Jada Robinson, and today this is my final project for Southeast Asia and the Pacific. So, first I want to talk about natural disasters and how destructive they are. They just, if you're not prepared for them, there's just a very small percentage of you surviving, so it's best for you to prepare before it happens than to react to it when it does happen. So today I'm talking about tsunamis, and for those of you who don't know what tsunamis are, they are caused by high-level earthquakes, and once those earthquakes hit, the water becomes higher than normal and high water levels, and the water just keeps rising and rising and rising. And once it rises, it doesn't stay in its, like, you could say, normal boundaries, or like normal where the ocean line is. It plunges into the cities and towns, and don't forget, it's at a really high level. So the speed is just enormous, and it just plunges into the cities and towns and just completely wipes out the anything in its path. So the impact of tsunamis is very destructive. Once the tsunami hits the towns, it just completely washes up people, and people who are on highland or could be on sea level basically get drowned up. And it's so powerful that it can just knock down buildings, and ships just go everywhere. It's just so powerful, and most people don't underestimate it because they say, oh, it's water. Like, water's not, how can water be so destructive? But it's very destructive. So you definitely have to be prepared for them. And the impact is just the cities are just completely wiped out. The houses are down to their fundamentals, like down to the wire. So it's definitely a very destructive impact. Tsunamis have their greatest impact on sea level. So on sea level or regular, not highland, because once they come from the ocean, they just go straight into into what's right in front of them. So this will go a little bit more into what I was talking about. My top 3 steps would be to help citizens prepare for things like this and natural disasters that completely are just very destructive. So my first tip would be to memorize a path to get to highland. So if you're living on sea level or close to the ocean, memorize the most efficient or shortest path to get to highland, because once you're on highland, you increase your chances of surviving, and it's just way, like, the tsunami is not most likely not going to reach that highland. So you want to know the fastest, most efficient way to get there. So, and you also, if you have kids, you want to teach them this, because once the earthquake hits and it's over, you want to quickly, as immediately, go to your path, take your path, and go to highland, so you have increased your chances of surviving. My second tip would be to have an emergency bag that contains long-lasting food, water, clothes, and has a flashlight and extra batteries. All these things will be very helpful throughout the whole process of a tsunami or any natural disaster, because you want to have the things you need to survive. So say you survive after tsunami, you're most likely not going to have a place to live at that point, because the tsunami will have completely wiped out your whole town. So you want to have things that will help you last a little while until you can get back on your feet and you can get the aid you need. But you want to be prepared yourself and not rely on other people, because countries are not going to be able to send aid right away. So you want to be prepared and have your own aid. So you definitely want to have like a radio, because your regular technology is not going to work. So you want to have a radio where you can be in tune with what is happening and know if aid is coming or not, or you know how safe you are from the tsunami. So you want to know what's going on. So I would recommend having a radio. And then my last third tip would be, once the like I said, once the earthquake hits and it is over, immediately take your emergency supply bag and grab your kids or whatever, and take your path and go right to the highland. And also, if you if you're hearing on the radio or the news that they have any suspicions of high level earthquakes coming soon, I would have your emergency bag right ready to go, because it could happen at any moment and time is very valuable at that point. So you want to have it right and ready to go. So those are my tips for tips and guide to being prepared for tsunami or any natural disaster. In this case, specifically tsunamis. But don't underestimate the storms. Always be prepared, and that's the best. Being prepared is the best thing you could do. So, thank you. This is David.